Hi there, I'm Mistal Godlewski, an American girl who called the cornfields of Illinois home until over 10 years ago when I started navigating the chaos of life overseas. If you've ever felt that itch for something more, that whisper telling you to break free from the ordinary, you're in the right place. This podcast is your backstage pass to the wild ride of moving abroad. I'm here to pull back the curtain on the real journey, sharing stories that are funny, dramatic, and sometimes downright unbelievable. We'll explore the gritty details, from battling culture shock and navigating tricky visa processes to celebrating those small victories that make it all worth it. So whether you're daydreaming about a new life abroad or already in the thick of it, grab your passport and let's explore what it really means to live life beyond borders. Welcome to A Broadly Speaking. Hey there, friend. Welcome to the A Broadly Speaking podcast. My name is Mistal. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. You know today that your life already isn't working the way you want it. And I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm not here to sell you on a dream or to talk you into something wild or impulsive. I'm not here to pump you up. I'm actually not going to do much of anything to change your mind. Honestly, I don't need to, because your body already decided. I'm just going to say the thing you've been trying very hard not to say to yourself. You can't keep living like this. And you know that. You've known that. It's not new. What's new is that you're finally starting to take yourself seriously. So while we're talking about Maslow's hierarchy today, but not in the academic, remember this from high school way, I don't care if you draw the triangle for memory. I don't need you to label all the layers. You're not here for a lesson. You're here because something in your life has become too tight, too small, too heavy, too fucking exhausting. And you're trying to name it. You're trying to understand why life feels like it's pressing against your ribcage from the inside. So we're going to use Maslow as a way that it was meant to be used, which is as a mirror that reflects where your life is out of alignment and why the move abroad isn't random or dramatic or impulsive. It's structural. It's foundational. It's your nervous system screaming about needing to breathe. You remember the pyramid, likely from health class in high school, or even if you don't, bottom is survival. Things like food, shelter, health, safety. Those are the basic human needs that you need to be alive, right? Above that is stability, which is all about predictability, belonging, being able to rest. Above that is identity, being yourself, being surrounded with people who get you, or at least don't shrink you. Then expression, which is using your gifts, being seen as you are. And then the highest point is self-actualization, which is just a fancy way of saying becoming the person you were meant to be. Simple enough, right? Except life gets messy when one of those layers stops working. And what happens for most people is they try to skip the part where they acknowledge that something has stopped working. They try to talk themselves into being okay. They try to say, I'm fine, it's fine, this is fine, nothing to see here. But the difference between being fine and being well is huge. There's a difference between getting through the day and actually living your life. There's a difference between existing and being alive. Quite frankly, you probably feel the difference in your body before you'll ever say it out loud. You feel it when your shoulders tighten, when your breathing gets shallow, when your sleep becomes more restless. The things that used to feel neutral now feel heavy. Noise feels louder. Smell decisions feel overwhelming. You start to feel like every day is something to survive, not something to experience. That's your body sending big smoke signals saying, hey, we have a problem here. Not a dramatic problem, not a crisis, just a life that no longer matches who you've become. And here's where Maslow's triangle becomes unavoidable. When the bottom of that pyramid, the safety, stability, basic grounding stuff is shaky, you cannot climb the rest of it. You cannot become who you're meant to become. You can't evolve. You can't stretch. You can't expand. You're too busy just trying to hold yourself together. And for you, while you're listening right now, whether or not you've articulated it in this way, you're stuck in a life that forces you to brace constantly. And when you're living braced, you can't breathe deeply. And when you cannot breathe deeply, your nervous system cannot calm. And when your nervous system can't calm, your sense of self starts to collapse. It becomes really hard to access curiosity, creativity, ambition, softness, trust, hope. Maybe you're feeling even like you're in this edge of burnout because your system is too busy just trying to keep you upright right now. So when you say, I think I want to move abroad, it sounds like a dream. It sounds like escapism. It sounds like a whim. But what it actually is your body trying to restore the bottom of the pyramid. People don't move abroad because life is going great and everything is perfect. They move because something in their body says, we can't self-actualize here. We can't exhale here. We can't unfold here. We can't become the best version of ourselves here. And maybe nothing is wrong exactly. Maybe on paper, everything is fine. Maybe your life even looks enviable from the outside, but your body doesn't care about optics. Your body cares about truth. Your body is the one that knows when a room isn't good enough for you. Your body is the one that tightens when you're around the wrong people. Your body is the one who gets quiet right before you cry for no reason. Your body is the one that says, hey, you, something is off and I need you to pay attention. So here's the truth. You're probably not afraid of moving abroad. You're afraid what moving abroad confirms, which is that you've outgrown your current life. And outgrowing something you once built, something you once wanted more than anything in the world, hurts, even when it's necessary. There's grief in realizing that your life is smaller than your capacity. There's tenderness in admitting that the version of you who tried so hard to make this work deserves better. There's loss in recognizing that you don't belong in the same way you once did. Belonging is one of the deepest human needs we have. And realizing you no longer belong in a place or a rhythm or a community, even if those people still love you and you still love them, is absolutely disorienting. It's like walking up in a pair of shoes you've worn forever and suddenly realizing they're too tight. The shoes didn't change. You did. And you don't need to freak out about it. You don't need to rip your life apart overnight. You don't need to know the whole plan, but you do need to stop pretending that the shoes still fit. That pretending is what's exhausting you. Not the possibility of leaving, not even the fear of change. The exhaustion is coming from the emotional labor of holding yourself inside a life you've already grown past. You're trying to stay who you were, but who you were isn't here anymore. And listen, I'm not saying any of this to be poetic or to be a psychological superhero. I'm saying it to be practical. This is your body. This is your nervous system. This is Maslow's pyramid in action. If the structure doesn't support the person who you've become, the system will force change eventually. Now let's talk about the fear, because there is fear. Of course, there's fear. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means something significant is happening. Fear means you're standing on a threshold, on a precipice, and your body is going to scream at you. That's what the brain does when it recognizes change. The brain wants predictability. It wants sameness. It wants the path that it knows. It's not interested in what makes you feel fulfilled. It's interested in what keeps you alive. And it doesn't know that staying is what's slowly killing you. You don't get rid of the fear. You walk with it. You let it be loud. You let it be inconvenient. You let it freak the fuck out like a toddler who didn't get a snack that it wanted. And you keep moving anyway. People think bravery is loud or dramatic or cinematic. It's not. Bravery is quiet and unglamorous. Bravery is filling out the document even though your stomach is in knots. Bravery is requesting the appointment even though your hand is shaking. Bravery is saying, I think I'm ready, even when you're also saying, I think I might throw up. Bravery happens in the most boring moments, but it matters because movement matters. Any movement shifts the nervous system. Movement reminds your body we're not trapped. There is a way forward. I'm listening. I heard myself. And once you hear yourself, you don't get to unhear it. That's what's keeping you up at night. Not fear, not uncertainty, not logistics. It's the knowing that something is ready to change. Not someday, not in theory, not when it makes sense, right now, in this season, in this chapter, in this particular version of you that exists right now in this second. You're not standing at the beginning of the decision. You're standing in the middle of it. The decision already happened. Your body made it months ago. Your brain is just trying to catch up. So here's the part where I tell you the truth plainly. You do not need permission. You don't need certainty. You don't need to be brave. You don't need to have a whole plan. You just need to stop pretending you don't already know. You do already know. You know what staying feels like. You're living that. You've done that. You've given it everything. You've stretched. You've negotiated with yourself. You've journaled. You've rationalized. You've swallowed it down and gotten back up and kept the routine alive. You've stayed long past the expiration date because you're loyal and responsible and committed and you want to be sure. Well, you're sure. You don't belong here anymore. You are not confused. You are just grieving the version of yourself who thought you could stay. Grief and clarity can happen at the same time. You can miss what was good and still move towards what's next. You can carry fear and still walk forward. You can love people and still leave them. You can be scared and still be right. Moving abroad doesn't require perfection. It requires confidence. And it doesn't require certainty. It simply, utterly requires honesty. Honesty with yourself, honesty with the life you're in, honesty with the life you want, honesty with the body that's whispering, sometimes begging for you to be able to breathe. If the bottom of the pyramid is unstable, nothing above it will ever feel right. Not purpose, not relationships, not work, not community, not belonging, not identity. This move is not indulgence, it's repair. This move is not escape, it's alignment. This move is not dramatic, it's appropriate. This move is not running away, it's running towards yourself. And yes, you're scared, of course you are. But fear isn't the signal to stop. Fear is the signal that you're finally telling the truth. And the only thing left now is movement. Small movement, quiet movement, movement that no one else may even notice, but you will. Your body will. Your spirit will. You will feel the air in your lungs shift. Not because the circumstances have changed, not because things are different, but because you changed, because you're different. The moment you stopped asking, is this possible? And started asking, what would happen if I actually did it? That was the moment your move began. You're already in the middle of it. You don't have to rush. You just have to keep going. That's it for today's episode of A Broadly Speaking. I hope this one helps. I think sometimes we all need to remember that just because we're afraid doesn't mean that it's the wrong decision. And I love you, friend. I hope this one was helpful. I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to A Broadly Speaking. If today's episode got you dreaming a little bigger or thinking a little braver, go ahead and hit subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who's ready for their own adventure. And hey, don't be a stranger. Come hang out with me over on Instagram at @IamEstelle for the real, unfiltered life abroad. Keep that passport handy, and remember, life's too short to stay in one place.